The earliest example in the Hepburn collection from the theater is the wedding gown from The Lake. Howard Greer designed the costume of Duchess lace and satin that Katharine Hepburn wore as Stella Serege for the ill-fated 1933 production at the Martin Beck Theater. It was after seeing Hepburn's performance in the Broadway opening that Dorothy Parker quipped, "She ran the gamut of emotion from A to B." Tormented by producer-director Jed Harris, Hepburn had lost her confidence during the rehearsals and regained it only slowly during the run of the play. She later said that The Lake was the most important lesson of her life, and that it had taught her what it takes to be an actor, what it takes to be a star. You are the person responsible for what happens to you and to the play. Having made a series of box office flops, and with her movie career at its nadir, Katharine Hepburn went home to Connecticut in 1938 to figure out her future. She was delighted that summer when Philip Barry presented to her with the outline of a play that suited her perfectly. It became The Philadelphia Story. During the summer, they both worked together on the script and asked the Theatre Guild to produce the play. Hepburn and her then beau, Howard Hughes, invested in the production. The Philadelphia Story was a great theatrical success, and knowing that any number of actresses would want to play the part of Tracy Lord in a film version, and suspecting that no one would want to hire Hepburn since she'd been labeled box office poison, Howard Hughes purchased the movie rights and gave them to her as a gift. This enabled her to negotiate the terms for the MGM film with Louis B. Mayer. Valentina designed the costumes for the stage production of The Philadelphia Story, including the wedding dress for Tracy Lord, made of pink silk organza, chiffon, and crepe de chine. Hepburn saved the dress in her personal collection, and 34 years later she asked designer Patricia Ziprot to use the dress in the 1973 television film of The Glass Menagerie, in the scene where Amanda entertains the gentleman caller. In this scene, Amanda goes to her closet and brings out a dress she had worn 30 years before when she entertained her own callers. Hepburn did the same with this dress to give added authenticity to her portrayal of Amanda. As a 16-year-old, the late Playbill editor Louis Bato was in the audience one evening for The Philadelphia Story and remembered the audible gasp from the audience when Katharine Hepburn entered wearing this red and white costume. The original pleated white gown, seen in the Eisenstadt photograph, worn under the red coat, had been from Valentina's own wardrobe. There are two nearly identical raw silk jumpsuits by Valentina in Katharine Hepburn's personal costume collection, one in natural-colored silk, and the green one pictured here that is very like the one in the image from the stage production. Hepburn may have had Valentina make them for her personal use, or they may have been replacements for the originals and made during the run of the show. Valentina did only one other Broadway play for Katharine Hepburn, Without Love, which opened at the St. James Theatre in November of 1942. Inside her copy of the souvenir program, Hepburn placed a sketch of this Valentina gown, noting details of the fabric, the construction, and how the skirt simply floated. The bodice and sleeves are draped to enhance Hepburn's slender figure, and the skirt is made of multicolor panels of silk organza. Hepburn patronized Valentina for her private wardrobe, and it's no surprise that the dresses the couturier made for her stage performances in The Philadelphia Story and Without Love suited Hepburn's slender and graceful figure perfectly. Katharine Hepburn did a number of watercolor sketches of herself in various roles. This sketch of herself as Coco Chanel captures the essence of her approach to the role in the 1969 production of the musical Coco. The late Ray Diffin said that she was quite willful and initially uncomfortable because she'd never done a musical. To make her more at ease with the part, the producers took her to Paris to meet Chanel. She wasn't getting along with Cecil Beaton, who she felt would never achieve Chanel's simple elegance, so she bought two complete couture ensembles, one white and one black. She wore the black wool ensemble. A sleeveless dress and coat, in the performances. It must have been challenging to wear because Chanel made no allowance for the needs of a performer singing and dancing under the stage lights. There were, however, multiple sets of detachable white collars and cuffs to keep the look fresh throughout 8 performances a week. Ray Diffin made many of Hepburn's costumes for Coco in his New York costume studio, while Beaton supervised the tailored suits being made in London. Jane Greenwood designed the last 2 Broadway shows starring Katharine Hepburn, A Matter of Gravity in 1976 and West Side Waltz in 1981. Miss Greenwood said in a 1998 interview that Hepburn referenced her collection of costumes and, quote, knew so much about clothes and herself, unquote. There's a Pierre Balmain couture ensemble in the collection, a dress and coat that was most probably the prototype for the costumes in both of these productions, for it has the same sleeve button detail you see in this image.